Yeah, we're good. All right, welcome everyone. It is 6:01. I'd like to welcome you all to the City of Jasper work session. I'll call this meeting to order and roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Here. Mr. Galloway?
Here. Item 3 is normally the acceptance of the minutes. There was no minutes from the last meeting since we did not have a quorum, but there will be minutes from the previous meeting that will have to be approved. Are there any questions, comments? There are notes available for some discussion, but as far as anything to vote on, it'll be for the meeting prior to the last meeting. So item 4 is the bid on our solid waste collection and disposal. Mayor, is that you?
Thank you. Turned out we had 3 bidders, and all of you have gotten that information, I think. Take a look at that. Only one of the bidders bid the recycling with it, so I guess the big decision to start with is whether we're going to do the recycling or not. Because if you make that decision, you pretty well make a decision about what bidders we're going to have. So,
I'm thinking the price difference. That's my opinion.
we do have people here tonight in the public that need to ask questions.
Let me propose this and see what you think. And maybe I don't know if it's something we'll agree on tonight or something we can push to the next meeting. I know we're kind of in a time crunch, but I know the last time we bid this out was 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Remember what?
3
years ago. Recycling was not a money-making venture for those who work in it at the time. I don't know if it's changed or not. I am not very knowledgeable in recycling. I know I try to recycle as much as possible, but I do understand all it takes is one dirty pizza box, and then it ruins the whole truckload. And I think that's once again that's a cost thing that you can't have one person there going through picking that kind of stuff out.
We do allow for a certain percentage of contamination, and then we do bill back the processing and contamination fees. So you guys are paying for that. So not the whole load, but it will contaminate it. So we try to keep it as clean as possible. We do get a good percentage of garbage in or recycling in garbage. Garbage in recycling. So, but it doesn't contaminate the whole.
What I was considering, or would like to consider, and I don't know if you can please speak on this, about instead of doing home pickup for recycling, if we had located recycling bins like they have in some other municipalities where people go and take, I think people who take that extra time will take the extra care also to separate the recycling. And that's unless you, in your experience, so they just use it as a dumpster.
Yeah, the last one we've had the full for that. Am I right, Jen? When the one out at Dominion Springs and
Anyway, it may be it gets to be a billing issue. I think in that case you'd almost just have to pay for it. You'd almost have to pay for it because who you don't bill, you don't want to bill everybody.
No, yeah, they do have a city service.
So it has to be city would have to provide that service, I think.
And you do get a fair amount of contamination with that as well. People that don't start to around the containers as well.
somebody drive by and put their McDonald's bag in one of the plastic containers. Look, how much difference in money we talking about?
Not much.
$3.24, $3.25 more per month.
Per billing cycle, per month, per user.
And that includes garbage and recycling, right? People I've talked to like having a recycle just at the doorstep. And I may be the only one out there, but for right now, I don't see making a drastic change until it's just we have to. Yeah, I agree.
I think we need to, if we do that, we need to help some way with our public information officer and our social media platforms to educate people on what they can recycle.
I agree with you 100%. But I think we ought to just leave it like it is. Listen.
And is there any way that if we end up going this way, is it quarterly our grade, so to speak, how well we're doing in every recycling, how often you have to do, and how much extra trash and separation you have to have?
We do get a report from the the recyclers, so I can provide them to you quarterly, so that you know how much contamination, the percentage is of the waste.
And that way we keep the public informed of, okay, this is what we're trying to do, and basically you're failing also, or you made, great.
Okay,
Help
if we
us.
can't get better at what we're doing, we're gonna have to stop it.
Yes.
And I can provide a flyer as well, that you can, put on your website, or if you want to provide to your residents, so they know exactly what they can and cannot recycle.
How many companies are actually recycling now?
Well, for instance, in your city, you get about 45% of participation rate.
Okay.
We service the city of Homewood, that we only do recycle there, so that's 100%. We don't have a lot of contracts that are recycling because of contamination, but it is good. People do like the option, so, if you keep it and it's not a big change, then I would say it's best for your residents to have that option.
All right, another question. In the, contract, it says something about you have the right to increase during the year, are we talking percentages, or are we just gonna talk about warm and fuzzy feeling, y'all think, well, this is what we're gonna do, and this is where it's gonna go, and what reason are you gonna do it?
Well, in your contract, we have a CPI every 12 months for water sewer trash. That's running about 3.5% right now. And so you'll be notified 60 days prior. But we also did put in the bid letter that if the contamination fee is double, triple, we don't know what the future is. That's just something we would petition the city and sit down and look at that. We haven't had to do that. We just put that in there just in case, the fees triple.
If it say it tripled and you came to us and we had to sit down and work out, would we have the option then just to do away with recycling then because it just blew up on us?
And the way that's written is not just recycling. I think that's on solid waste collection and recycling.
So it's all the way across.
Yeah, just would have the ability to pass through or increases to existing fees and taxes, and an ability. And the ability to increase the rates after signing the contract. If there's no cap on that, though, what does that mean?
There is a cap on the annual CPI. What we're referring to there is for the
Contamination. Yeah.
But that would actually be 2 increases, correct?
It will, yes.
Yeah.
But before we do anything, we would sit down and talk, like I said, we would have a conversation about, so that you would know, and then we can make a decision.
I'd like to know, you don't know now, but if we need to pull the plug on recycling to lower the cost for what we got on the trash and stuff, then I'd like to know that we've got the right to pull it. Because if that thing blows up and you got 2 increases, that could really make a lot of people mad.
Have we ever did a survey to see what the citizens would want? Yeah.
Was that 3 years ago?
3 years ago, we had a really last time we did a survey. We had a lot of insurance companies really complaining about that deal.
Those who really want it.
Well, and really, the 3 years ago was not a smart financial decision on the city's part that we decided to do it. It was more of a public outcry trying to do what's right. Instead of what costs, we try to.
Bulk bins had been taken right before that too. So that wasn't an option. Wasn't that right, Dennis? About the same time.
If you go with garbage and recycling, it's going to be about a $5.25 increase.
Okay, thanks. That's my next question. I couldn't come to. What? 525?
And when you think about the cost of fuel and the cost of labor and everything, that's not that drastic.
So, gentlemen, I guess it's become recycle or not recycle. And you do not put recycling in that as a purpose. Do you do recycling? Is it something you just can put in the bid?
We typically don't. We've had some contracts in the past that we had recycling, and the cities and counties decided that they wanted to drop it, and so we don't offer it anywhere in any of our contracts right now. More and more cities and counties are away from it due to the the costs and the contamination factors. And the secondary markets are just horrible for the materials. And, so we just didn't participate so far because it's really hard to do it and do a good job and keep everyone happy.
Mm-hmm.
Ginger did bring up a good question just a while ago. We started chatting about if you drop recycling midstream during the contract, would that be considered a material change in the agreement?
Good question that I cannot answer.
Yeah, that'd be a city attorney question, you know. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to tell you. I just know there is a clause now about bid law that says if you do something that's a material change in the contract, then it needs to be rebid. So that might be something.
As far as one, would this have to be rebid?
That's a city attorney question.
And it is difficult to stuff process now. I guess it's BRR that you guys are using, and a lot of, I mean, they'll look at the load and there'll be a cheeseburger at it. So it'll all be counted as contaminated. So you go from paying a little bit to paying $100 a ton to dispose of the volumes. This is always good.
And honestly, our main problem with doing recycling was having to take it all the way back to Birmingham. I mean, we just couldn't see how we could capture the cost and keep it. I mean, that made you a good offer if you want to stay with recycling. I'm not going to say anything bad about my competitor. That made you a good offer. You know, we gave you an alternative bid. We gave you a bid with just garbage only. We're very close to their price. Our bid includes all new equipment, new cars, new trucks, the whole works. And of course, we do the counting now. We started the counting about a year and a half ago. So we're here. We also do OATCHI in the county, and we've got several adjoining cities in St. Clair County that we do now. We're also at the DeKalb, just in this area. We're all over the state and in Mississippi. But yeah, we were interested in doing your garbage if that was the direction we wanted to go.
So on the rare occasion there is a complaint, do you handle that complaint directly, or does it go through our city?
Well, we don't set it up however we would have set it up however we wanted. So we have a customer service center that we take our calls in, and of course I always give my phone number to whoever my contact is here that kind of works on a day-to-day. If they have a major problem, they can call me and we get it. But as far as our customers, they call customer service a number that we have. We have an 800 number, and we handle it like that. You know, we give good service. You know, in the county, Calhoun County residents, they call our 800 number, and we have an office here in Anderson, and then we take care of it from there.
What kind of customer service do you have? I know a lot of right now, I think it filters through our City Hall, and City Hall calls.
Right, we currently have a spreadsheet that Kim, the ladies at City Hall, fill out and send to us anytime there's a new delivery, a disposal, an exchange, a miss. And so that they send those lists usually twice a day, and then that way so we can respond quickly and get someone out if it's a miss, or we can address it and they can get it to our dispatcher right away and get it picked up that day.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't have a problem doing that. We have some cities that do it that way in some counties. It's just whichever way you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, agenda item for you to vote on. So, if you're ready to do that tonight, you can, depending on when, have it blank to fill in whichever one you decide to go with, whatever direction you decide to go with.
With time constraints, do we need to act on this tonight, or do we need to? If we don't, would we not have to have a special call meeting to?
I think if we don't act on it tonight, we need to have a call meeting. We're going to get in a crunch about them having time to get whichever. I guess we stay with the people doing it now. That probably wouldn't be as much of a time squeeze, but with change companies, they're going to have time to get materials and so forth.
Well, yeah, the biggest thing is the carts. You know, if you Well, I think it's got new carts in the contract. Does your bid include new carts? Oh, it doesn't? Okay, all right. Well, our bid did include new carts, so, that's the thing we would need to know as soon as possible so that we can, get the carts in and get them out if you decide to go with us.
Not to be a bully, but
Yeah.
I live in August State, lowest responsible bidder, and that would be us on the board as well. So, just kind of throw that out there.
Sure.
And I think service is pretty well. I mean, it seems to be working pretty well for you guys now.
So we moving forward with this tonight?
I guess my only thing, and I'd say, yeah, let's move on with y'all are good with it, but I just don't I want to make sure if there are changes made, it's a fair and even way we have to protect the city and what we're doing, instead of them just saying, and I've seen it happen before, Richard.
The initial question, I guess, would be, if you, at some point over the next 36 months, want to drop one of the features, the recycling, would be what your contract says with the provider. Is that going to be a breach of that contract? Or are they going to say, drop it if you want to, but you still got to pay us? That would be, but you can include that. I think you could include that in your contract that you sign after the bid is awarded. After the bids are awarded, then come the contract documents with the details in them. I think you can contract for that up front, and I wouldn't think you would have to rebid anything if that was it's not a change, it's just implementing a provision that's there at the outset, which would be to discontinue the recycling if you choose to do so.
Okay.
But your concern is price increase and price increase and price increase.
Yeah, I just, what would change from every 30 days, something goes up. So if we can change it in the verbiage to protect the city in the contract, then I'm good, because I really still think we need to have the recycling.
Yeah.
So I do too. I think curbside recycling, I know another municipality has reached out to me several times asking about our process because they desperately want it. Probably all three companies here represented know about it. It's tough to make money on y'all's side for it. And I think some of the PSAs or some of the communication to the citizens, it is a differentiation point. I know some have said they moved to Jacksonville, they were trying to figure out why they had two trash cans. So one of them stand for recycling, if you'll notice, but really understanding what is to go in recycling. There used to be, the little bin, the little, you set out. And you would separate them yourself, and you don't have to do that anymore. And so.
They are given information.
Absolutely.
You're given a calendar that has what can be recycled, what can't be recycled, what their days are.
But,
an explanation of each thing, garbage, trash.
It has to be spoon fed and it has to be
and I'll say I got that when I moved here, but that was active at the time, but it's passive thereafter. So that's one of those. It's just a reminder of, just like I told Ben, hey, the holiday's Thursday, probably going to set back pick up one day.
We've already got that implemented too. We've been working with Ben on getting things like that implemented. We've been putting that stuff out.
Correct. So that's what, just those reminders. Even though you get it one time, doesn't mean that you're going to remember it thereafter. So I think the continuation of sharing that information would be helpful.
Those things change. I didn't realize my K-Cup was recyclable until today.
The what?
The K-Cup.
I didn't realize about the contamination. And I've been here for a long time.
Well, the only reason I know, I remember because they were saying the last time we did the bid, how important the contamination was. I remember that more.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's the same issue with not being able to sell the recycled to a certain country.
Remember that.
Right.
Just a crazy question. What about if we wanted to put the Jacksonville City logo and the school stars or something? What would that take?
On you can.
Can you not just put a sticker on it? Every time they go
You do that during the day. Just ride around slapping stickers on.
Run it again.
Did you
I just think it's, like Piedmont's got.
I've seen them, yeah.
It's cool, and I've
It
seen
is.
some other towns.
Any of y'all got Southside? I saw they just had new cans. Southside, City of Southside? Is it Republic or? I was trying to, it looked like they were either embossed or etched on there. The heat stamp, yeah. Yeah, those look sharp, yeah.
I've also seen the breast cancer awareness. Y'all have that?
Yeah, there's a pink card out there that you can buy. We service those if someone, like in Allen County, if they want to put one out, they just let us know, and we service it, just as we would our card.
Let it rip, I guess. But
Well, you may have to clarify what that actually means.
You got that side by side by side.
I say we proceed, but I think the mayor and Richard need to be real careful on.
Oh, I know exactly. I need that too.
How that would take place.
You say proceed, what you don't.
Let's vote on it. The one with just recycling with.
When that is low bid.
Yeah, the low bid.
Correct.
Sure. You good?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you know about recycling? Ask me.
I know, I'm learning a lot.
That's all I know.
That's all y'all feel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bid in 3 years, if you decide to put it out to bid, we'll come back and participate again.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed working with Ms. Long. So she answered our questions, did a very, very good job, and I appreciate you getting that information back to us. So thanks for letting us bid.
Well, I understand the county is real impressed and thankful for what you do for them.
We think we've done a good job. We've tried hard. You can't satisfy everyone all the time. Just try to, if you have a problem, just react as quickly as you can. That's all you can do. So thank you.
Thank you.
What's the percentage of that truck eating those trash cans and you have to get another one?
Percentage,
Kind of question.
procedures, if they email us and let us know we can.
It's usually like a week or two though, isn't it, before it comes?
They have gotten better.
Okay.
Since took over.
Maybe that, yeah.
If they email me and they say, that it'll wait a couple of days, and I'll just in and, Thank you for saying that.
We do get a lot of calls of the truck has ate my garbage.
The reason I say that, one day I woke up and I went out there and my recycling can was gone.
And that's what it's looking at, and if you can get it down to that level, that you can, hey,
And that wasn't,
we fell down to 40% this time, or 30%.
The issues are happening.
and then we can educate them more, even if we had a.
And there's never any pizza left in our boxes.
Never.
Oh, that has something to do with me.
And then we could educate those communities, even if we have to have meetings with them.
We talk about school program,
Yeah.
getting your third graders involved. Well, now, why we do this is we start getting some of these numbers, we can do that more.
Y'all heard of just go around and talk to students?
That'd be me.
Well, when are you available?
You just give me some days. When I'm not putting stickers on your car, I go.
You come up here and talk to us and put stickers the same day.
I'll do it. I love it. I was born in Champaign County.
And I think that'd be good when she comes on. She's a trash lady.
I don't think that's how she wants to be introduced, but, we'll see, we'll clear that up, I guess. Thank you again, thank you again.
Thank you all.
If there's nothing else, we need to move on. All right, item 5 is the, the Public Safety Complex.
It's gonna be good.
Is that Mark or you?
That's me. I just wanted to, Mark may want to say something about it too, but I just really want to make you aware we do have on the agenda tonight for the Public Works for that project, so we can move ahead with it. And as we move ahead with that, the first step is going to be just drilling away on to see if we find anything like oil or water or gas.
Not all the same.
We don't want to go ahead and do a contract or bid for including the pump and connecting to the irrigation system, all that, because we may not get any water. So we need to stuff, and we don't get water, so the first step is to, get the guy up here, get started on the well. I think he's, he's always behind, but the way he talks pretty quick, right?
Yeah. Last meeting we had, he said to get right on it once we
Yeah,
approved
I
it.
think he's ready to go, I think, so. But that's mainly it, just make you aware of kind of the process here, what we're doing, some baton race with that being on there. It is on the agenda.
Any questions to the mayor or Mark on that?
I think that's wonderful.
Cause that lake's looking,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Item 6, a DECA grant, traffic control grant. Chief?
Now relax, you don't have his white shirt on.
It's not gonna be the big chair.
Well, when you look at reviews for restaurants, how they put all the dollar signs, 2, 3, 4, usually has white shirt that's full of food. That's a Florida. Yeah.
More brass in
Yeah.
here.
Thank you, sir.
Traffic accident.
Let me tell you about the colors.
From year.
Can you get so much colors, I need to tell you what colors are.
You know I can't say.
All right. So what this traffic grant is, a couple of months ago, you guys approved for us to enter into an MOU with ADECA. And so for this traffic grant money they get, if officers work it, they reimburse the city for not only the base pay, but the fringe benefits and everything that goes along with that. So our issue is because of the way our overtime policy is written, officers don't get the opportunity when they work this detail to make time and a half. So that's our request today is to, on the last page, it has the amount of money we're asking for the city to pay the half of time and a half. And it's got some projected cost on there on what that would cost. And we worked with Ms. Grant and she went out and did what the step increase would be for everybody that's in the department, and that's the total amount that we came up to. The reason why we're asking for this is over the last couple of months we've been looking at our traffic accidents, and they have significantly went up. And this is not a negative point on the university, just when they changed some of their things, it increased the number of vehicles, such as freshmen being able to have their vehicles now, and increased the number of cars that are in the city. And as you can see those numbers, when school's not in session, our wrecks are going down. But when they are in session per month, we have a significant increase in traffic accidents. So if you'll flip through there, you can see some of those graphs and what types of injuries we're having. So from May 1st, 2021 to 12/31/2021, we had 218 wrecks. And then you can see the different type of injury types that we have. And then you can go on to the next page and you'll see the time of day when those wrecks happen. So they're broke down by the times. And then if you'll look at the next one, the pie graph, the next one, it'll tell you the days that those wrecks happen. So our goal would be is to, the lieutenant and the assistant chief would be overrunning this program, and we would try to staff or get people to work this traffic grant during those busy times when we're seeing those wrecks to try to change driver behavior. And this is not something we're looking at writing a bunch of tickets for. I think sometimes you can change people's behavior just by pulling them over and giving them a warning. But those that do get tickets, we have, a couple of years ago instituted a driving school. So those first-time offenders, if allowed by the judge, can go to driving school and pay a lower cost instead of paying the cost of a ticket. And they still get, 4 hours of education behind that if they do go to driving school for that. So, there's an important piece in that education piece, and we believe both of them go together. And, hopefully during that process we can get drivers' behavior change and decrease some of our accidents.
Of the 218, how many of those are on city only, or how many of those would be on state controlled?
I don't have that broken down like that here. I can go back and generate another report and it'll tell me that, but I didn't.
I mean, just maybe anecdotally, what do you think? Is most of these 21-204?
Yes, a number of them are.
And so that, you know, I get out and work traffic myself, and so that's part of our issues in those areas where we get down to 25-mile-an-hour zones. You know, on Pelham Road, people aren't doing 25 miles an hour. And even in those other areas where the speed limit's 45 to 55, some of our primary contributing factors is speed and distracted driving. So, you know, we got a letter back this week that DOT is going to change the red lights at Pelham and George Stout, because that's one of our number one intersections where people are trying to beat each other and getting T-boned. So we're hoping that that's going to change that there as well.
Does that give him more time in the?
So we're going to protect the turning lanes, because that's been the issue with people going northbound trying to turn left on the George Stout, but just trying to beat that southbound traffic and getting up to. So the goal is for them to protect the turning lanes while they're turning, and then the turning lanes get a red light on the north.
Yeah, just dedicated green, dedicated red. Good.
Maybe this is not the right place or how to discuss it, but with what you're trying to propose to do, and is there a way we could slow the traffic down by where the nursing school is going to be approaching those lines, or does it have to stay wide open speed range till you get to the line and slam on the brakes?
So we've had some conversations with ALDOT about a permanent fix to rumble strips. We're trying some out right now. Those are not the best. I would say the permanent fix is a lot better. But we have not had that conversation about anywhere other than just crosswalks right now.
It just seems like, and I know I'm a broken record, but it scares me the way people come in from Anniston and they're not slowing down, and and I don't know how you slow them down, but maybe by doing what you're talking about doing would have more presence of your people out and being seen, and that would slow them down, because it's wide open.
I think we can make a request to ALDOT again about trying to slow that or lower that speed limit as you get closer in the town right there. It's still 65.
I mean, this is
Actually, I don't know, right? You get past it, it'll drop to 55 until you get by the ABC store, I think.
So, I mean, if you can do that, and maybe they're a point of listening about speed since what's happened, to me, and then this would help your guys be down or be more visible. And I think that's important. I got scared. I looked at the bottom of the thing. It had $268,000, and you said the last page. Then I got smart and turned it over. And
he did that on purpose.
It's $9,000 now.
So I'm assuming you're having difficulties having officers willing to work.
Right, because the way we do it on a sign-up basis, so we do have some overtime jobs that are paying officers $30 and $35 an hour. So when you tell them, okay, you can go work this and you're paying your base pay and it's $20 an hour, of course they're picking the $30 and $35 an hour. So if we're able to do this, we'll be able to pay them. The city would cover the half of time and a half. Or the city would cover everything up front. We would be reimbursed for the base pay and the fringe, and the city would essentially be paying the half, time and a half.
Is it on the agenda, or this is just discussions?
It's on the agenda, I think.
No.
Is it to be?
Y'all can add it.
Well, to me, I think that's a good investment, $9,000, because we are not carrying the whole load on what we're going to accomplish.
But that's a projection. Is that correct, or is that?
Yeah. So that is, I guess you could say, projecting the top, and that's what everybody throughout the department, and I'm sure not everybody in the department will work it, but that's what everybody's step raise for this fiscal year. And it was projected off that cost. Okay.
Is it time sensitive that we do need to add it tonight? Since it's not on there? Have it next time?
We can do it next time.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. All right, item 7 is the Henry Farm baseball field discussion.
Yes, where's Adam Allen? Adam Allen's y'all should have a, sheet of paper that has some stuff on it.
Hi, Adam. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I think it's sorry, it's something in my eye, so I thought, from my all this is out. So we actually started this discussion when we had the straight line winds last spring and took the top off the baseball dugout. And obviously, contractor came out and insurance paid to redo that, and it got us kind of discussing maybe some potential rethinking the baseball field and the dugout, especially. It's the baseball team has grown, which is a great thing, done well. We now have 3 full teams, sometimes 4. Sometimes they split the 7th and 8th graders into. We'll have 30, 40 kids try out for each level. Great. So it's a great problem to have. The issue is that the locker room, the way it sits, is part of the dugout. Basically have a hallway, which is about 7 feet by maybe 15 feet. And then you have a little 10 by 10 room. And that's it. You got 40 plus kids trying to dress and change because it's not on campus. So they come over there and they get in there. It's just kind of a mess. So what we talked about maybe doing, we could extend it's all cinder blocks. We could just extend the wall that goes to the left field line 10 foot, basically make a 20 by 20 locker room, and keep the long kind of hall they have now for like the junior high kids or whatever. And then that would require pushing down the bullpens 10 feet and then adding a storage room on the end of that. So we can keep the lawnmower and stuff like that in there. So it's essentially kind of taking what we have and adding on a 10 by 10 room and then doing a bullpen. And hopefully the intent would also be to cover the bullpen so they can pitch during inclement weather and practice and stuff like that. So they've got a batting cage now, but nowhere to throw and things like that if it is raining. And the baseball season now kind of runs January to April, so it's not the greatest weather to be outdoors doing it. But that was the intent. So that project kind of got us thinking and talking. I think we could extend that, really make it more accommodating for both teams, JCA and Jacksonville plays there, and really make it more functional for the 40 to 60 kids that are using that facility pretty much daily starting in January.
At one time we discussed, is there enough room on the back side? Then you were talking about cutting into that hill. And
we would essentially just go down to where the light pole is now, stop there, and then we would just push the bullpen down. We wouldn't initially we one time talked about moving the fence and all that stuff, and this is a much simpler kind of layout than doing all of that.
And we'll talk about cost a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
I think they have that information you sent out.
41. 5 for the locker room.
And that was give or take, it might be a little more than that now. That was back early spring last year when we were working on that. So somewhere in the mid to upper 40s, we feel pretty confident we can get it done. We can pour that pad, take that wall out, fill block, and we'll just match the roof line coming down with it. So and then we redo the locker room and, like I said, reset the bullpen further down, and then have a storage room on that far left field side, so they can still get in and off the field with equipment and stuff like that.
Right, y'all, we are looking at doing both projects at one time, or can we do one year and a 2-year plan? Or
well, you have to do them both, because if you push 10 foot down, you gotta push your bullpen down. And then part of the thing is too, so the way that the locker room's configured now, it's actually 20 by 10, and there's like a 10 by 10 room, and then this 10 by 10 room is a storage room.
Oh.
So that was kind of the intent, was it encompass that and then go 10 foot, so you end up with a 20 by 20 instead of like a kind of funky L shape.
But like, we wouldn't really have to do the canopy.
No, not necessarily have to do the canopy, no. Absolutely.
That's something that could be a plus.
That could be
so you're looking at about 110. So, all total, something like that?
That number,
No, what about that? Don't forget about
Well,
that.
let's see the backside.
that would include some other projects.
There's always a backside.
Yeah, but we're not, are the dugout rails,
You got those in.
yes, and that's done.
So that's already there.
And the roof has already been raised.
So during the building project, the roof got raised, the dugout poles and the nest got put on both sides.
24.3 for the new storage room would be included there.
So really we could do the locker room addition. And then hold off on the canopy.
Well, what, have you discussed this with the schools? And I mean, what kind of partnership were they willing to get into and, I mean, help with some of the costs? Is there anyone else out there that can do that?
Herein lies all the tricky situation with baseball is the city owns it. So when you start building structures and stuff, the school board doesn't get super excited about helping because they don't own it. They are spending money right now to help redo the infield. I believe they're putting in the infield's like 4-inch drop off the infield now, so I think they approved it. I think $12,000 to redo the infield, regrade that, the dirt in there, and some other stuff.
Yeah, redo the mound.
So as far as the partnerships, if we got into like what could we kind of parlay that with, we would basically it'd be me going to the parents basically, which is completely good and we want to do that, but from the school standpoint, I think you're going to have a tricky situation.
I don't think it'd be that tricky. We have them all the time.
I was fixing to say they asking for money all the time, so.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that.
Sorry, someone brought it up. I don't know.
I'm just saying we got to this point with a lot of discussion and asking for this.
That would have been the bulldozer to do the new football field, bring it in and clear it out for you.
Oh, clearing out's not a problem. We can get it cleared out. I think building the locker room is. I think that's the most functional touches. That's like real deal benefit to the kids. It's
I agree. I think
as much as
dressing room
functionality
needs to be done, but now to the.
Yeah, and that was a lot of, and there's a lot of stuff in that list of that number that was added up to that. So I think we're talking the upper mid 40s would get that locker room done and get the bullpen pushed down. I feel like that would, for me, that would be priority. And then everything else is really kind of a matter of, I guess, keeping up with the other schools and things like that.
So the school board told you absolutely no?
I haven't asked the school board. This is feedback from coaches and stuff, which is.
I definitely like it.
I haven't proposed anything.
Put your school board hat on for a minute. What you think that would be?
You have to set that one off.
Well, does anyone else use the field? It's just the two, SBA, but not high school. That's a high school field.
It's a high school, middle school, JV.
Right, but we don't have any of our 13, 14-year-olds that's in hard play there.
The younger ones play at Germania Springs, and they play down, I think, the softball team.
They practice on their softball field.
Yeah.
The junior high.
I personally do not realize some of the facilities up there. I'm usually down the lower, and I've not been up to the main field there since my son played, 8-9 years ago. And that it had deteriorated. The concession
The siding on the outside of the press box and concessions is getting a little rough. The siding's kind of peeling back a little bit.
It doesn't. I mean, in the drive up. There's something that's not very appealing, especially if we have people coming from out of town, and which we do all the time. And then we have these
championship.
the championship. Right. That's exactly what we talked about. That and the college, if they're able to get all the high school championships here again, I thought that'd be a good opportunity to have that field as a practice field for some of those other teams coming in to warm up on.
I don't remember if it was announced or not, but.
Well, I think we had it for 1 year because someone else can have it, and we're going to try to get it. It's like
I agree with you. I think it needs to be done for the image, for the kids, no. But
all the people coming in, we furnish them a good ride up there, you know, good. Like that.
They do, don't they?
They get money at Six Flags for that kind of roller coaster.
Let me ask a question. Is this gonna get into your territory if some of us wanna go to the school board, talk to them, say, look, this has been proposed, we wanna help, we want it, they need it now? Because, and I guess I'm kinda hard-headed, if they spend that whatever it's gonna cost to do the football field and the six and all that, to me, all the sports are valuable.
Sure.
Most, they turn out,
Yeah, I mean,
School game, football game.
if you think that would be fruitful, I would agree 100%. I would, my biggest concern is baseball starts
spring break tournament, they
Well, we need to move now. Well, I'm not talking about waiting long.
Just knowing what they're spending.
That's start jumping because it goes through.
I think they're gonna be focused on getting that project done first. Cause they've stated, they softball asked for upgrades.
Okay.
The band asked for upgrades, was there.
We'll get in the building.
Phase 2, down the road. So, I don't think there's lack of asking, I think timing wise, like I said, we've been talking about this since February last year, you're gonna miss another baseball season at least.
Well, how fast will you start and how fast will you have it ready by baseball season? You'll make sure of that, won't you?
Make it happen. Because, essentially you're building a block building now.
Yeah.
And tearing down a wall and adding to it, so and then we could drop a storage building. It's, that type of stuff to me, like I said, is kind of is an easy win, because it's gonna look really nice to be functional, but you're not getting into heavy construction.
Is it gonna be heated and cooled?
It's got HVAC in there. Well, it's got window units in there now.
Is that big enough to carry what you're gonna do in 2020?
You could, I'll go back and look at the numbers, but you could put a mini split in there for
$5,000.
$2,000.
Well, I just think if you're gonna do it, it needs to be good where the kids feel good when they go in.
100%. Yeah, I think we could put a mini split in there for $4,000, and it'd be good to go. So, because the inside turned out really well when they redid the other side and redid the dugout part. So I think we added that to it.
Okay, so we think that timeline, if we had to did it, we don't wait.
So,
Sorry, we had to start.
what we gonna do?
And keep in mind, Adam Hamlin is a great fundraiser. So, he probably half of it.
I would like to see some other entities with some skin in the game. I really would.
I'll shut up to y'all later, but anyhow, I think other people need to buy into this. And I don't think it all should fall on his shoulders and what he's trying to do, because it needs to be done and the kids need it. But, what would the school system do if we said you can't use the field anymore? What if?
That's hypothetical.
Yeah, we're trying to do, so I wanna help the kids and let's, you didn't want to say that.
That's hypothetical.
Okay. But just for instance.
Well, this is just one of the many things where the city and the city school system work together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be determined how much they work together on it. It is city property, but I don't know how long that relationship has been since the park opened. Yeah. I'm guessing, so that was, when did that happen?
Timeline, we need to keep in mind that if it's over a certain amount, you're gonna have to bid it out.
That was our sidebar. That was our sidebar. Richard said we're okay.
Right, determine here, what is the bottom line dollar figure we're talking?
That's my next question. I'm with you.
We put a
Everything on this sheet minus the two items they mentioned on the back, it's like $103,000.
That's what I had.
We're talking about two public entities, school board and the city of Jacksonville. You're tied to bid law both places.
I thought we were talking about just doing this 41.
Right. If we do the first project just at the 40,000, it'll be under bid law. Right. You can't. Well,
We just did that. No, we just did the.
no, it'd be two separate projects.
We put a cap on the public works project, $45,000, to be on the bid law. Anything over $45,000, they gonna have to deal with some other way. And I just throw that number out later.
Sure.
I make the thought process recommendation that we proceed with this. But on the other hand, we proceed to go talk to the school board and see if there weren't any ownership of this, and somebody may walk in, but I mean, if we can go ahead and start the 41 or the 45, that puts you in pretty good shape.
I can assure you, my first conversation is going to be with everybody that I raise money for to say, hey, we've got the city putting up X. Y'all, let's do the same and do it, another phase of the
And that'll help do step two.
Exactly.
I mean,
you start doing something, it generates a lot of
yeah.
buzz and stuff like that, so.
I'm good.
Well, let's, Janice, can we ever get your thoughts before you burst?
Well, thank you. My thoughts are, this has not been brought up to me since I received the email back in February, March. So it's been nothing until I see it on the agenda. The reason the school board is not favorable is because the school board did not even know about it. When I called and asked Dr. Howard, he had no clue, neither did Dr. Wade. So I keep wondering who the we is and whose budget the money's going to come out of. Because last I checked, Henry Farm was part of Parks and Recreation. And when I get jumped over, it kind of upsets me a little bit. And to me, we are the parents. If the parents want to do the money, I mean, hey, that's great. But we've jumped the gun and we've not included the two entities who are over this.
That's not true. That's not true. You knew about this thing whenever.
In March last year, when the dugout, they didn't have a dugout for the entire baseball season, you have a fan get a little upset when there's a public project that's, the dugout's got a blue tarp on it and some shambles, and we're like, hey, why can't we get this fixed? And the discussion, but the discussion was, hey, we'll fix it ourselves and we were going to go. So it hadn't been this movie. Now, Dr. Howard knows now. Dr. Howard's new, so he didn't know because this has been going on since March of last year. So, nobody's upset with Parks and Rec. Like I said, it's a funny thing because it's like the city or the school doesn't. The city owns it, but the school leases it, so there's always this kind of tension that happens like this.
But
so the coaches
entities have been, other than
no,
this. I mean, this is new. If I hadn't read it on the agenda, I wouldn't know what's going on.
We've been talking about this since March. I literally asked, can we either add on this while we do this project, or we'll do it ourselves? And I was told, no, we can't do that because the city owns the property. I mean, nobody's not.
Well, there's no need in bickering. We've talked about it now. Let's move on.
Yeah, I think so. I think we are. We will look at that. I think what the consensus is. You want to put that, or do you want to speak with the school board first?
I'd rather speak with the school board first.
Well, and then we'll do it quickly. Because I don't want to strain. In your opinion, do we gotta go into the school board or to the superintendent?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Andy, what's your thought? You got a point. Keep it going.
That don't mean. I mean, I would think Dr. Howard and the school board have been very forthcoming here in their requests for additional funding, which we have done above and beyond what our kind of bond issues are that we are already paying on property. I don't know that's what I was saying a minute ago. Two entities is just another one of those relational things that we have with the school board and the city school system, where the city supports the school system in multiple facets. I don't know the agreement to use that facility. I mean, I would say, Adam, you own property. If you own property and the tenant wants to start making changes to that property, you might say, wait a minute, you can't change anything unless property owner is on board with this. But then there's also where the tenant's saying, well, hey, we need this to be up to date, and we need this to be to a level for not just competitiveness, but other things. So you've got to work out how do you share that. So I think it'd be worth talking to maybe for you to reach out to the school board and maybe Dr. Howard and
I think you need to talk to the principal.
And
Russ, and work your way up. If he's favorable, as he can go to the superintendent. I mean, it's an opportunity.
And the coaches. You got to get coaches involved, parents involved. That's especially if it gets one to the school.
Was this a committee? This was a group that you were working, or?
We never did.
Okay.
This, as far as I know, was not has not been submitted to that recreation committee.
I thought it was coming when you
Yeah,
mentioned
that's what.
that. I thought it was coming out anyway, for that.
We did the recreation committee, or the parks committee, or
Would
whatever.
this not be
This
part
is
of
not
it?
part of that.
Be something totally
This has
different?
not been, they
Well,
followed.
they're out of school, I'll call this at home, hey, I'll call this at home and just say,
And that committee, I know it's scheduled to meet again on the 30th of this month.
yeah,
So I know we, asked them to prioritize things for us, at least if nothing else, maybe to let them be aware
yeah.
that this is an item, because it wasn't on the list. After.
I think that would be good for the committee to know too, the needs, that's what they've been, I'm sure that's what y'all been discussing, hasn't it?
So we'll try to set up a meeting with the principal
I
next
think that
week.
would be helpful.
You know what y'all been discussing, the needs of the different parts?
I thought you were.
I do too. Here, okay.
Yeah, let's set this up. Let's try to get all those entities involved. Yourself and maybe some other parents, or with us meet, some of us meet with the principal in the beginning, kind of see what his thoughts are. Coaches, their input's going to be important, and then we'll
I'll
go from
call us tonight or in the morning, and tell them we need to see him Monday morning. And then we'll call through what your calendar's got. And that way, we're not holding anything back, we're moving, get him going. I'll call him tonight.
Okay.
You know it's a need, for sure.
Yeah, it is a need, and that's one of the things I think it's just for everybody being on the same page, so that there's not a one-off.
Yes.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
At some point, somebody will have to create that public works project.
That would be.
That'd be you.
Huh?
That'd be you.
We'll get to that. Let's have our meeting first, and we'll know that.
Ball rolling then. Yeah, I'll go with this.
I would feel a lot more comfortable with this if we had other, as I said, have other people involved. All right. Anything else?
Thank you, Adam.
Item 8, the restore project for Post 57. We talked about it. We were gonna discuss it with the CBA, and I don't know.
I talked to, my, Hyman about that, and he doesn't think it fits what they do, and previous chairman, he did.
No, it doesn't under the existing, and I don't know what the leeway in changing any of those. I know that, right now, we talked at one point about looking at some of that, but how easy it is to change it if it's necessary to change it. I don't know, I wouldn't change a procedure to fit one project, or a policy rather than fit one project.
Mike was gonna go talk with the folks there to see exactly what they're doing and see if there might be a way they can make it fit. But he really felt like it's probably not, because, they got two different awards they can give, but it doesn't seem to fit either one. It's not, the facade grant's been for the square overlay district.
Correct.
It's not there. The other one is business development. Well, it's not developing a business,
Yeah, it's not
It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really doesn't fit either one of those categories, but he's gonna go down and talk with him, but I hadn't heard anything back from him, so kind of in his story.
The beautification, right? Because that's gonna be a great project to us to get involved in, as we're coming into town there to see that up on the hill.
Exactly.
What were they
We
requesting?
still get involved with it, but it just looks like it's not gonna fit, unless we just totally change what they're doing.
Were they requesting 5,000?
Yeah. Was that for the Muriel or what?
How much would it take to change the verbiage to, not just for one person, but
If you
That would fit this.
change it, then you're changing it.
That's what I'm saying.
how far do you change it, is what I'm saying.
Then we're still under time restraints. Okay. Not saying that may need to be addressed later about changing some of that verbiage that's in CBA.
Are you saying that? Do what?
Yeah, create a new grant program, which, I will say, I think would be a great idea. I mean,
outside of the historical. I suppose they gotta have an answer on the money.
Well, they're working as we speak on all the improvements. They're working every day.
Yeah, but, so they need the cash flow.
They're a nonprofit, is it?
You know where they're non-profit.
So, y'all's discussion kind of pointed out that it's a little bit of a front porch, coming into the city. Yeah, I think in VFW, I mean, it's going to serve a fair number of people.
Of course.
It is a service organization. So how much money they ask for? Yeah, well, we just end this discussion and move on. I can do that.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Let's end it.
It's under your amount that you have to approve.
All right.
Don't you
love when the mayor takes charge? Yeah. Okay. Well, I noted it. Is there anything else on that? Any other business? Any other business? All right, hearing none, we'll adjourn. Take 5 minutes to get everything set up, and we'll get started on our council meeting. Thank you all.
I just realized I might have contaminated that.
You did.
Well,
You blew it.
Sorry, Republic.
We're not putting it in the recycle bin,
You know what?
Yeah, I know. We put that there for a while. There for a while, you couldn't recycle the gas.
There's no recycle bin.
Yeah, exactly. We just don't try to pay for it. We just don't. They lease it for $10 a year, and we don't even get that. I don't know if there's a lot bill for half a tank. I think that would be easier. That'd be easier to do. All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the City of Jacksonville Council meeting tonight on this November 21st, 2022. I'd like to ask you all to stand while I talk to Derek Staples from First Baptist Church of Jacksonville. Give the invocation and still remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, we bow before you today as we get ready to celebrate Thanksgiving. And even tonight we recall how good you are to us. Thank you, Father, for your provision. Thank you for how you watch over us. Thank you for grace and mercy and forgiveness. Thank you for the way in which you reveal yourself to us through your Son, Jesus Christ. Father, it is a privilege tonight to stand before our city leaders, our mayor, our elected officials, and to pray for them. And Father, Jacksonville is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to serve you. And so I pray for those who are in positions of authority tonight over our city. I pray that you give them wisdom. I pray that you guide their thoughts and you guide their actions, that you guide their speech. And that, Father, you would use them to help provide for the residents of Jacksonville. And Father, we thank you so much for an amazing city in which we get to gather together and to live and to serve and to be all that you have designed for us to be. So bless them. Bless their meeting tonight, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Dr. Staples. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Mr. Laster? Here. Mr. Galloway?
Here. Everyone being present, item 5 is adoption of minutes. Any questions, comments on the minutes? Second. Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda?
We do have one. And it's to the main agenda, add item 12A, consideration of resolution number R-2159-23 to award bid number 23-03, solid waste collection and disposal to Republic Services, and authorize the mayor to sign any documents and the city clerk to attest said signature.
Is that all?
That's it.
All right, so I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended. Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item 7, proclamations. We don't have any proclamations. Item 8, public comments concerning any agenda item. If there's anyone in the audience who wants to come up and speak to the council, address the council on any agenda item, this is time to do so. Seeing no one come forward, move on to item 9.
Consideration of resolution number R-2155-23 regarding Clean Water State Revolving Fund application for wastewater system improvements, project number CS010391-06.
Second. Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item 10.
Consideration of resolution number R-2156-23 regarding drinking water state revolving fund application for water system improvements, project number FS010298-01.
Second. There's a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item 11.
Consideration of resolution number R-2157-23, granting a quitclaim deed to the First Baptist Church of Jacksonville, Alabama.
Second.
There's a motion second, any discussion? Richard, I do have a question. Being a member of this church, is it better for just the same?
No, sir, I don't, do they pay you?
No, that's what I was concerned, and really has nothing to do with that, for them to move forward with another project.
No, sir.
Just want to make sure. Keep me out of jail, Richard. Thank you. Anything else? All right, I have a motion and a second, discussion, on favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 12.
Consider action to accept the bid report for bid number 23-01, purchase of ADA restroom trailers, and approve resolution number R-2158-23 to reject the bid for Portable Restroom Trailers LLC.
So moved. Have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 12A.
Consideration of resolution number R-2159-23 to award bid number 23-03 solid waste collection and disposal to Republic Services and authorize the mayor to sign any documents and the city clerk to attest said signature.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 13.
Consideration of resolution number R-2160-23 to amend resolution number R-2135-22, vacating unapproved Gaston Avenue Southwest, Loeb Avenue Southwest, and unapproved alleys that lie north of unapproved Colorado Street Southwest.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 14.
Consider action to rescind resolution number R-2118-22, establishing dates for boards of education elections for the city of Jacksonville, Alabama.
So moved. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 15.
Consider action to approve JCWP number 23-112, well as public safety complex per the attached.
So moved. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 16.
Consider action to receive the street light recommendation from the staff committee and authorize the placement of the street light at the intersection of Caldwell Drive Southeast and Thomas Street Southeast per the attached.
So moved. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 17.
Consider action to approve the Jacksonville Fire Department volunteer list per the attached.
So moved. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 18.
Consider action to approve the termination of the following: Austin Goodwin, wastewater 3, water operator 2 trainee, effective November 30, 2022, due to failure to meet the requirement of the job description.
So moved. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 19.
Consider action to approve the employment of the following. Item A is Chairman Joshua Calderon, police officer, range 18, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273 due to the resignation of Christopher Duggan. Item B is Jordan Michael Latham, police officer, range 18, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273 due to the pending promotion to sergeant. Item C is Jesse Wayne McKnight, part-time utility equipment operator, range 13, effective upon compliance with ordinance number 273 due to the promotion of Joshua Palmer. Item D is Brian Moser, part-time laborer at the library, range 1, effective November 9, 2022. Mr. Moser is currently a temporary laborer. And then item E, Austin Goodwin, laborer at wastewater treatment plant, range 1, effective November 30, 2022.
So moved. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 20.
Consider action to approve the reclassification of the following: Anthony Scrotta, police officer, range 18, effective November 23rd, 2022, due to the resignation of Michael Viviani Pinto.
So moved. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 21.
Consider action to accept the resignation of the following: Michael Viviani Pinto, police officer investigator, effective November 5, 2022. Item B is Christopher Duggan, police officer, effective November 13, 2022. And item C is Franklin Cinto, corrections officer, effective November 15, 2022.
So moved. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Consent agenda.
Item 22, purchases over $7,500. Item 23, disposition of surplus property.
So moved. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item 24, public comment on any general item. Anything you'd like to address the council, this is time to come up to the podium and do so. Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on to council member remarks. Anything?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Great minds, Andy.
You got that. You're great. I don't mind. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, item 26 is the mayor's report.
Thank you very much. I hope all of you made it to visit the Christmas village yesterday. No, Saturday. Oh, they did a great job. Nancy Gillespie did a lot of work putting that together. Really a tremendous event. So I want to thank her and all the art council for doing that. That's an event that's just growing every year. Just time they have that thing full Saturday. So great event. Just a couple other things to remind you about coming up. Everybody's already said Thanksgiving. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. So I'll have to do that and remind you that city offices will be closed on the 24th and 25th. And remember, Christmas, the lighting of the square is going to be coming up on November the 28th. That will be Monday at 6 p.m. on the square. And if you pass around the square today, you know Janice and her crew, they'll tell you, Janice leave already. They've done a lot of work in the cold today, and we're back up there tomorrow. It's really beginning to look good. And I also like to thank whoever did these Christmas trees out here. I'm sure at court tomorrow, some of those people paying fines and stuff and found guilty tomorrow. I really appreciate having a tree here to cheer them up a little bit. Remember, Tuesday at 6:30 is Christmas parade. That's always a huge event. So get prepared for that. Looks like it's going to be decent weather for that, hopefully. And then to remind you that the JSU Christmas lighting will be December the 1st, Thursday, December the 1st. You're invited to that. Will be at the President's Home. So take advantage of those events. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Any other business to come before the council? All right, then item 28.
Consider a motion to adjourn into an executive session under the provisions of the Code of Alabama, Section 36-25A-786, to discuss consideration for the purchase, sale, or lease of real property, and under the provisions of the Code of Alabama, Section 36-25A-787, to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce regarding economic development.
I have a motion and a second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Just we'll let everyone know we'll be adjourning into the executive session and we will not be returning. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Green? Yes. Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Laster? Yes. Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.